Today I'm going to show you my 5 go-to chromatic blues licks. Let's get into it. So this first example is a lick I use all the time. It's really versatile because we can take this same shape and use it in 2 different spots on the fretboard. But for the first example, we're going to start on the note D down here on the 3rd fret, then come up to F, and then our little chromatic section is going to happen between the notes G, A, and A flat. And we're going to play this. So I'm coming up D, F, G, and then from A, I'm going to pull off from A flat down to G and then come back F and D. Now this is just a segment of a lick that we can attach to other things that we're playing. We can play stuff coming into this segment of the lick and different things afterwards. This can just be sort of one building block in part of a larger phrase. Right, so I'm going to show you one other example of how we can use this same fingering up here around the 8th fret, revolving around this G root note. And then after I've showed you both examples, I'll tie it all together in a solo. So if we take this same fingering and move it up here to the 8th fret, now instead of starting on the 5th of the chord, the note D, we're starting on the root of a G chord. And we can play the exact same fingering, and we get the root, the minor 3rd, up to the 4th, 5th, and flat 5th. We get that nice kind of bluesy sound with the flat 5th. So over a G chord, both examples work really well. So now I'm going to tie this together in a solo. The first time around, I'm going to use this first phrase down here by the 3rd fret, and the second time around, I'll build a motif with this second example. We're playing in the key of G, and this is going to be a 12-bar blues shuffle. So for this next example, this is another go-to lick for me and a really nice use of chromaticism. This lick is going to start on G and then go up to B flat and then chromatic all the way up to D. Right, so we're starting on G, and then from B flat, it's all just half steps, but to make it all kind of fit in this position, instead of just going up on one string, I'm going to do 3 notes on the G string and then come up here to this D flat and then D here on the B string. Now what's cool about this is it fits right out of this chord position right here, right? We're literally just going from the root of the chord up to the 5th of this chord shape. So as we move through the different chords of a blues, we can take this same thing and just move it up through the positions, up to the 5 chord, the 4 chord, and down to the 1 chord. And this is a great lick. You can play a lot of repetitive cool things. Right, I play stuff like that all the time. So I'm going to do a little solo example again over the backing track, and I'm just going to build a little motif using that phrase, and I'll move it around over the different chords in the progression. So this third example is a lick I use to go from the 1 chord to the 4 chord in a blues. And this uses chromatic notes to kind of voice lead and pull you from 1 chord to the next. This lick is going to start on G, the root note of our G chord, and it's going to happen in that 4th bar of a 12-bar blues as we go from G to the C or C7. So I'm going to walk down chromatically from G down to F, and then I'm going to jump up here on the same string and grab the 9th, the note A. And then I'm going to come down to the 6th, this note E, and then do a little hammer-on and slide. That's a half-step hammer-on from E to F, and then a slide down to D. And then from here, we're on the 4 chord, and so we can walk chromatically up to the 3rd, the note E of our C chord, right? So this is all just using some voice leading, right? You hear these kinds of things all the time, right? Little chromatic things to pull your ear from 1 chord to the next. Right, that happens in all kinds of music. So this lick again, right, is just a nice use of voice leading to get from one space to the next. So this really comes together when you hear it in context. So I'll play it over the backing track and pay attention to that 4th bar when I go from the G chord to the C chord in our 12-bar progression. I'll put this lick right in that spot, and you can hear how it's phrased properly. So for our 4th example, we're going to use another really versatile lick that I play a lot in different ways. You can actually play this lick, kind of order the notes, different ways to create a bunch of different lines. But the way I am going to demonstrate it here is this phrase. So what this is we're kind of coming up in E minor triad, which is also, you know, the relative minor to a G major. So E minor works nicely over a G major or G7 kind of chord. So we slide up that E minor triad, and then chromatic from D down to C. And then right here, you're in a G major triad. Right, so I'll play this phrase in a lot of different ways. That's one version. I also might play walking up chromatic from B up to D. In the solo example, I play something like this. where I come up chromatically on the B string, again to the third of our G major chord. And I'm just seeing these chord shapes, right? These are these basic caged chord shapes, and you have all these triad groupings within these chords, so it's helpful to see this stuff and just see the chord tones. Basically, that's what we're doing, is just tying together the third, the fifth, and the root of this chord, right? And we can even add the flat 7. Right, and we can use that to target chord tones in the other chords that we're playing. Right, different phrases like that. And again, this is a lick you can move around to different spots, right? If I want to play it over the 5 chord, for instance, I just have to see this chord shape. Right, and then if I wanted to play it over the 4 chord, I can actually, in this position, kind of jump down a string set, right? Right, so I have all these different options, and one of the things you can experiment with as you learn these basic phrases that I'm showing you is how to move them around the fretboard. But to start out, just getting these basic fingerings and lines under your fingers is really great, because this is the stuff I use all the time. All right, so here it is used in a solo. I'm going to move it around through the different chords so you can hear it in context over a groove. So this fifth and final phrase is something I like to play over the 5 chord of a blues, right? When we go to the D7 at the very end of our 12-bar form. And this uses some altered notes from the D altered scale, right, this scale. And so this phrase starts out by sliding into the third of our G chord, the note B, and then comes up to D, and then we do this big long chromatic phrase from E to E flat to D, and then we jump down a string and we play D flat, C, B, B flat. So all that is one long chromatic line. And then here's where we kind of jump into this altered thing where we're going to play. Again, this is happening over this D chord, going back to the G chord at the very end of our form. So that spot in a 12-bar blues, right? So over a D chord, that's the third down to, in terms of the altered scale, it would be the sharp 9 to the flat 9, then to the root, right? And then we come down to the flat 7, and then here's where we resolve to our G chord by hitting that B note, the third of our G chord, right? So that's, you know, this kind of stuff. It's kind of altered phrases that happen a lot in jazz, and guys like Joe Pass and stuff play those types of phrases over dominant 5 chord in a blues context all the time. So that's the phrase. I'll play it now along to the backing track, and you can hear how it sits in that spot in the form. This final solo example, I'm just going to play a bunch of the chromatic phrases we've used up until this point, to kind of show you how you can tie all this stuff together into a cohesive solo. Guys, if you want the tabs and notation to these 5 solo examples with these 5 chromatic licks, head over to my Patreon site. It's a great way to support this YouTube channel. The link is down in the description. And learn these licks. Let me know how it goes. These are really useful phrases that I use all the time. Adding these things to your playing can hopefully open up some new doors and some new ways of thinking and seeing things. And take my phrasing and start messing with it and coming up with your own ideas. Take these ideas and move them around the fretboard. Again, so much of this stuff is connected by these basic caged chord shapes and triads. So the more of that fundamental stuff you learn, the more you can start to move this around and make it your own. So until next time, happy practicing and take care.